Good morning, YouTubers, afternoon, YouTubers, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Alright, so we're talking about the gang unit today in jail. Supermax a little bit too, gang unit and Supermax. Very similar programs back in the day anyway. The gang unit is now housed in the Supermax because you're doing the same fucking program. Gang unit started in Parklea in New South Wales, Parklea Correctional Centre. They just took the most, I guess the most connected or people with the most power, people with the most pull to the gang unit to house them separately to, you know, it's really to teach them a lesson. It's none of this, oh, we're doing a program to help you, you know, get out there and be a good part of the society or be a good part of the prison system. All gangsters, all the top, probably the top, you know what I mean, top 8 to 10 inmates, you know, whereas Supermax houses a lot of the more violent inmates, murderers, people in the public eye, and they'll use a reason to get them there. Like Fulmino, oh, leader of willing to kill him. He wasn't, but he was certainly funding willing to kill him, and so they'll use that as an excuse because of the politicians. They want him in there because he's killed a politician. Do you know what I mean? Other than that, all right. So getting to the gang unit. How do you get into the gang unit? Who do they pick for the gang unit? Why do they pick the people for the gang unit? So moved from Parklea to Long Bay in 06, 07 maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. But when I went there, it was 2008 and it was at Lithgow. People had been there for a year or two. Dave DeFool was there and he'd been there since Parklea days. Got moved there with it. People in the Supermax that were fucking up there, like getting in trouble there a lot, they'd move them to the gang unit and vice versa. You get in a lot of trouble at the STG, which stands for Security Threat Group, but we call it the gang unit. They'd send them back over. They've changed the name a lot over time because it's an inhumane program. It was an inhumane program, so I guess that's why they have it at the Supermax now, just to put it in that umbrella, put it under that umbrella. But boys would go to the Supermax because they figured they could get their TV sooner, the cells were better, the living conditions were better, the program was run better. There was actual staff that were on, whereas when I was in the gang unit, hardly any staff ever, so you couldn't move up. You'd come to your 1 monthly thing and they tell people, I never moved up anyway, but they tell the boys, oh, you haven't done enough of the program. The programs weren't there half the time. So how are you meant to move up levels? How are you meant to get your TV? All that bullshit. Anyway, you're meant to get free warnings, right? Free warnings for things you've done. I think I was the only person there on allegations. I could be wrong on that. Most boys were there for stabbings or being involved in stabbings, stuff like that. Like, you know, obviously no shootings in jail, so it's all stabbings. So you get there, I mean, before you get there, you'd front a board, they'd come down, you know, the Central Intelligence, that we work from the STG, the Security Threat Group in Sydney, in our office, got a few stars and that, you know, like really trying to put the intimidation in there with their paperwork and shit, like looking real serious business, you know, but really you're just a fucking inmate that's just doing what you're product of your surroundings pretty much, you know, and you're adapting to that life, and that's what the life is in there. That's the way you build it, and that's the way people act in there. Yeah, so I got my warnings. They come in, oh, listen, you're getting your warnings. Got my third warning at Lithgow, right? So when I got back on the truck, they actually tipped me from there. Went to Bathurst, come back a few weeks later, Bathurst was like, fuck, we're not having him, all this bullshit. Get back there, fucking, you're spending your last 14 months in Segro, we're keeping you in Segro, fucking, we don't want you in the wing, all this fucking shit. 2 days later, STG, Security Threat Group, come and see me. Listen, you've got your third warning, raka. And I said, oh, well, apparently I'm sitting in Segro till I go home, so what does that matter? Went down to fucking, went back to the cell. A couple of days later, the fucking O'Shea comes down. Oh, listen, we're gonna move you back to the wing. All this, I said, bro, I'm not going back to the fucking wing because I can sit in Segro now until I fucking 14 months, right? Or you send me back to the wing in a couple of days, you just make something up, just like the free warnings I've got from the gang unit. Bring me back, you know, and whether the warnings were true or not, they don't know if they're fucking true. None of them actual facts. Like, they didn't have any facts on me. It was all, you said this, or you did that, or you told this person to do this, or you're the leader of this gang, so, you know, we're gonna make an example of you. I'm still a fucking human being. Anyway, yeah, so they've sent me over to the wing. A couple of days later, I'm sitting in workshop, because that wing you have to work, and like I have to fucking go by their rules because I'm thinking I don't want to go to the gang unit for my last 14 months. Fucking at work, they're like, oh, they want you in the clinic. I said, there's nothing wrong with me, mate. He said, no, they're calling you, you have to go. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. So I grabbed my discman. I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to fucking SEG or straight to the gang unit. Walking out, I get to the gate. I see the squad running over to the clinic. Obviously, they're running over because they think I'm already in there because I was dawdling. I'm like, Chief, started waving to them. They're like, bang, turn, shit, bang, run over to me. Open the gates. Sorry, Patterson, fucking governor's orders, we've got to take you to Segro. I said, yeah, sweet, can I just keep my discman? He goes, yeah, mate. I said, I'm not going into the gang unit now, eh? He goes, no, mate, just to Segro. I was like, all right, sweet, went over there. Sat there for about a week and a half. They were organising Bass Hamsey's movements back to the Supermax. That's when he got caught with the phone, him and TK. So anyway, they put everyone on one side. At the time, I think there were 6 or 7 boys there. So each side holds 5, so 20, like 10 on each side you could fit if you had them all next door to each other, but they like to sit you 2 cells apart so that you can't pass shit, especially after the phone was getting passed. Sent me back over. I'm on the Segro side with TK. He'd been there a couple of weeks. I sat there for a couple of months with him actually. Even though I started the program, they didn't want to put TK with anyone. They didn't know if he still had a phone. All that shit was going through the news and shit. So I had my own side to myself for the first couple of months. Couldn't get anything, couldn't fucking, just living in silence, you know. So what happens is, they come, they're like, Monday you start, they'll sign your shit. Right, when you can't even have your own fucking undies that you've had sent in or you've bought on the buy-up. Anything you've bought on the buy-up, toiletries, shampoo, conditioner, fucking soap, all that shit. Don't say I've got no hair and I don't need it. Yeah, they'll take it all. So they'll come in, they'll strip you naked, give you, actually they'll move you into another cell, sorry. Strip you naked, give you jail clothes, boob clothes, like jail issue clothes. Boob means jail issue. Yeah, give you the shorts, undies, fucking 2-sided undies. It's like 2 bums. Jail shoes, jail socks, fucking wool socks for summer. Make your feet sweat. Middle of lift go. Like, come on, we're in the middle of the country here. We're boiling. No fan, no rice cooker, no TV. Like, everything you've bought is gone. See you later. In your property, packed, sealed. They'll pack it for you. Put you in a cell. Give you a linen pack, like you've just come in on reception. But that's what you have to deal with the whole fucking time, unless you decide to do their program. And they won't give you your stuff, they'll always give you their stuff and take it back, and if you swear, do anything. So yeah, they've given me my new cell. First day, I'm like, fuck, I need a book, you know. They will give you a book, but it's not like you can just fucking have access to a fucking library. It's like, you can grab a book, but that book you're gonna read in a day, and then they'll be back in a week or 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes they won't come back for fucking weeks on weeks. Right, then they want you to do their program. They want you to see a psychologist. They want you to do computers, like the counseling bullshit, anger management, fucking all this bullshit, right? They'll come and open your back door in the morning. So it's just like you're in a Segro cell. You've got your cell, your back door there, backyard the size of a laundry, which is just bars on top, brick wall either side, or sorry, Besser block wall, like the big cement Besser blocks. You look out, you're just looking at a massive brick wall right in front of you, maybe fucking 20 foot tall. Can't see nothing, can't hear nothing. You can yell out to the boys down there. Like, obviously you can hear them if you yell out, but yeah, it's just like sort of echo and shit. Every single word you say gets recorded, right? You cannot say a word in there that's not recorded. So anytime you open your fucking mouth, you got to watch what you say because it's getting recorded. Cameras, like they've set up camera, they had everything everywhere, right? Because everything that we did or fucking said, they'd know about. Do you know what I mean? I started talking to someone about marbles one night. TK, across the thing. Next day, they come and check everyone's fucking... So a marble's a piece of glass or plastic or like a bead sort of thing that you will make up. Open up your private part, put it in the top. It's like meant to do something or whatever. So that's a marble. So we call a marble inside. They come and check everyone's fucking, you know, strip search us all and checked our thing. Show us your thing, lift it, turn it. Fucking, have you got a marble? Have you got a marble? Thinking we're putting marbles in. You know what I mean? That's just fucking a late night fucking talk for 5 minutes. So that's how serious it gets there with the fucking listening and the words. Any fucking word you say is picked up. Other than that, level 1-0, they'll give you the day room once a week. So it's kind of weird because they'll give you the day room to walk around in for an hour or whatever. There's also an exercise yard between both sides, which has a chin-up bar. That's it, just a chin-up bar, but it's just a bigger thing. So it's like probably 3 times the size of your backyard that you've got, and it's got a chin-up bar in it. Anyway, you'll go inside, like whatever, you get your hour out there, go back to your cell as per usual. You want to use the phone, they'll open your door. You've got a grill in front of your door, put your hands through, get handcuffed, then they'll open that door, walk out, take you to the phone, handcuff you to the wall. But when you've got your hour out, you can walk around, the phone's right there. But you can't use the phone. So you get 1 phone call a week until you move up the levels, and you might get 2 calls or 3 calls or whatever, you know. Sometimes they won't write it down, so you might get away with, you know, someone else is on the next day or the next day, and you can say, hey Chief, can I get a call? And they think you haven't had a call, they'll give you a call, or they won't look if you've had one, and you'll get another call. Getting a phone number approved is a fucking nightmare. I think it took like weeks and weeks for me just to get a phone number approved, let alone a visit. I got a mate there, Gerks, fucking his dad couldn't come in because he had fucking driving like charges for driving. Like they're saying, oh, he's got a criminal history. This is your own fucking family, like your flesh and blood. First, like, you know, not cousin or something, like this is your father. Yeah, so you get nothing, got nothing. Start on a $15 buyout. You can work your way up, but you cannot buy nothing. You know, I'd buy a bag of oats, a powdered milk. Back then you could get the big bag, $6, a few dollars for the powdered milk, and I'd buy Milo. So every day, you know, I could make a couple of little milks up between my feeds just to keep myself from not getting hungry, because otherwise you will starve, you know. You'll be laying there like, oh, getting depressed and anxious and all that bullshit because you're hungry, you know, like moody all the fucking time because you're fucking hungry. Yeah. What else? Never got to mix with anyone. I had one bloke that was there, Sykesy, who used to be like one of my really best mates. But what happened was, before I got there, this bloke was talking shit. Sykesy went into the counsellor, had a toothbrush that he sharpened up. Back then you still had the long toothbrushes. Sitting there with the psych, he sees this fucking gronk going to the fucking computer rooms, the one that was talking shit, always a mouth, this cunt that he got. Going to the computer rooms, he's handcuffed in the computer room. Sykes, you're handcuffed while you're seeing the counsellor. He goes, you want to see something crazy? Jumps up, right? They still have wooden doors in. They fixed the doors after this. You've got the like the intel office and the squad there. Plus you've got 4 to 6 officers. Like, they always outnumber you there. Always outnumber you 3 to 4 people to 1, you know? So anyway, he jumps up, boots the door, right? Boots the next door, runs in, bang, 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 stabs him in the head while he's on the computer. And so they'd never let me mix with him. They had me and him on opposite sides and wouldn't let us mix. Yeah, so he was there for a few years, poor cunt. Sent him a bit whack, you know. Ended up in the mental health pods and shit, which happens with a lot of them. Some boys just can't handle it there. Like, to be honest, 99% of boys can't handle it there. Yeah, they all, they told me to cry and get your cellmate. They said, oh, see the counsellor and just, you know, put on some tears and shit, and they'll give you a TV once or twice a week for your mental health and shit. I said, no fucking way, bro, because like the way I figured it, yous are getting mental health problems because you keep getting the TV, taking it, you can't adapt. Like, I adapted after a day or 2, you know what I mean? Like, that just might be me, but once I was adapted, that's why I wouldn't do their program, because I was like, I'm not getting that. You take the shit back and fucking I have to adapt again and keep fucking readapting to different situations. The TV's gonna make me lazy. I got really into my Buddhism and training, split up my training routine to 3 times a day. Limited sets, very limited sets, because, you know, the most sets I do would be 6 for my biggest body part, and then like 3 or 4 for bis or tris or calves, whatever I was doing, traps that day. Abs in the afternoon, you know. 5 to 15 minute workouts, that's it. So I wouldn't hit that zone where I started burning too many calories. Then I could eat a sandwich or have a little thing of milk, and yeah, so I had to split everything up. I'd have like 6 meals a day, 6 or 7, but the thing is, the meals were tiny. Do you know what I mean? These are snacks I'm talking about, like fucking small snacks, not real snacks. Nothing else in there, yeah. Every time you leave your cell, right, strip search, bend over, fucking squat, hold you by your cuffs, drag you by your cuffs, shackled, orange jumpsuit, surrounded by screws and squad, you know, 6 or 7 of them, they'll take you, they'll bring you back, you go through the same fucking routine again. One day they took me to visit, Nelly got a visit one day, someone got approved to come and see me. They thought I was on steroids, hadn't had a visit for months and months and months, right? finally get approved for a visit. They go out there, they come back. I get to the door, they turn me around. I said, what the fuck's going on? They're like, oh, the dog sniffed her. I said, fucking bullshit they did, because I knew that she would never bring me anything. There's not a fucking chance in hell she'd bring me anything. She was the straightest girl. And I was like, you fucking made the dog sit. Ended up, as I was walking back, I don't know if boys remember this. You might remember this in '09 it would have been. But there was heaps of boys on the tennis court. And I was walking back from the game, handcuffed, and the fucking, as I got to the end, the screw was being a smart ass, you know what I mean? So I just went bang with the cuffs and twisted him, so it twisted his hand off. And I just started skitzing out. I was like, fucking, I was like 92, 93 kilos, but fucking ripped, like 20 something years old, you know what I mean? In my prime, like, looked a lot better and harder than I did now, like fucking solid. Just fucking started skitzing out. Not one of them come near me. They're like, all right, come in here, come in here. I thought, all right, we're going in there because there's no, like in the cell, there's no cameras. Then popped the door to the unit, popped my cell off, turned in, fucking opened it. I didn't give a fuck if I still had cuffs on or what. They're fucking like, yeah, mate, we're just gonna take your cuffs off. As soon as they took my cuffs off, they've slammed the door, shut it. I'm going off my fucking head at them. They're like standing back, not doing nothing. Fucking end up locking the door, right? They go back, go and get the squad from out the front, Contage. They've come in. As soon as I seen them, I was out the back doing chins. I just ran at the door, booted it, started trying to boot it off. Obviously, I'm not going to get it off. Anyway, they're like, fuck, settle down, Patterson, settle down. I said, your dog's a fucking liar, mate. You fucking pulled the fucking thing or made it sit, all this shit, you know. They go get the governor and the deputy governor, thinking that they're going to come and calm me down. I seen it in his eyes, right? As soon as he popped the door, and I was like, but I was pumped, you know, I was in the middle of a workout. He's just looked me up and down like, what the fuck? Cunts aren't meant to look like this in the gang unit, right? Next day, sure enough, they've come fucking urining me, fucking trying to test me for steroids and shit. Obviously I had nothing, I was in there, but yeah, I get that a lot in my life. I've had it since I started training, people saying roids and stuff, which I just take it as a compliment now, because if you think I'm too big for natural training, that means I've obviously trained hard and trained well. But yeah, been tested plenty of times, like in jail anyway, never come back. So yeah, what else is in there? The boys, when they move up, they can get a radio, I actually had the form somewhere, maybe I'll find it one day and I'll be able to upload it. They get a TV after that, then they start to, you know, work the levels, then they start to mix with one person, and then they can mix with two people, but one at a time, never two at a time. It's always, if you're mixing with someone, you can mix with someone. More phone calls, more buy-ups, you know, extra food and that. Yeah, it was fucking, it was pretty hectic, but to be honest, after I did it, I thought that was the easiest jail I've ever done, just because of the programming, and I just programmed myself into that routine. So that's why it's important for people when they get out, or even be in there, to get into a routine. You'll see a lot of people from jail struggle when they get out and don't have that routine. You know what I mean? They don't know how to adapt to society, and they don't know how to adapt to things. ATS, assault or threatened staff. So that's a thing in there. They'll put that on your door, and it'll be for weeks and months. And you know, I had it on there for months. So if you assault or threaten staff, even just swearing, going off at them, they'll put this thing on your door every single time they come to your door, right? So they're going to give you breakfast. They'll knock on your window. You have to go to the back of the cell, on your knees, cross your ankles, hands on your head, interlock your fingers, and lock your face in the door. They'll watch you. They'll open it. They'll put your food through on the fucking ground, through the bars. There's bars there anyway. Look, you can't get through them bars, but you got to be at the opposite end of the cell. Bang, they'll do that. They want to open your back door. They'll do the same thing, knock. You just got to step back, wait for them to open the door, come through, put your hands through the bars. They'll put handcuffs on, so you're chained to the bars. They'll walk around the back, open the door, walk back around while they're opening everyone else's door. So you're chained there for a few minutes. Come back, unlock it. Same thing when they want to do the back door. They'll call you to the front. You got to get handcuffed to the front. They'll come around, shut your back door, come back around and uncuff you. Dinner, lunch, breakfast. Anytime they crack that door, you're on your knees at the back of the cell. If you don't, you're not getting fed. So that's ATS, assault or threatened staff. Yeah, I may have missed something if anyone's been to the gang. There's not many people that have been there, to be honest. Like, it's very, it's a very, what's it called? Like, it's a very special club. But yeah. So I went there. What did I go there for? Their allegation. Q ended up coming over and telling me that they think we were trying to knock this Islander bloke, which We weren't, but we'd had dramas with them in the past, and then he ended up there, and it was sort of like, I think that he thought something was going to happen. He called me into the cell the first day I got there, and I walked straight in there, and I think it sort of put it in his head that fuck, you know what I mean? Because he had a lot of people intimidated. He wasn't used to people not being intimidated by him, so yeah. I probably was a little bit, but I wasn't going to back down. That was for sure, you know? And Q also came across and said, bro, I'll run through that fucking office. If something kicks off, just yell out to me. Which I don't know if he overheard that or anything, or anyone told him that. Yeah, so they brought Q over. Q ended up going back to the Supermax because he'd already spent 5 or 6 years in the Supermax. So they were like, all right, we're sending you back there, because they actually didn't have beds in the gang unit then. He went back there, appealed it, got out. I didn't have the luxury of that, didn't really have a family that would get a lawyer for me, or anyone that would get a lawyer for me and get me out of there. So I had to sit there until I went home. When I went home, I had to take all my fucking shit with me, which fucking burnt me, you know what I mean? Like taking all my shit, TV, shoes, fucking everything I had, everything I owned in jail, I had to walk it out of there. Couldn't just leave it at reception, couldn't sign it over to anyone, they wouldn't let me. So it's pretty fucked up. Yeah, hard time, easy time, sort of bit of both. You know, I never thought that I had these, you know, people say, oh, you've got these, I don't like to say trauma, like troubles from the past. Because trauma should be reserved for like that really bad shit that happens to you. But yeah, it probably did affect me. I used to think that it made me stronger mentally. That, you know, how you're gonna break me now? I just sat in a fucking laundry pretty much for 13 months without a fucking sound, like all in my head. So that's maybe why when I paint or spend a lot of time with myself and stuff, and become very institutionalized. So taking the worst people and trying to make them better by making them more institutionalized is obviously one of the dumbest things. It's just a punishment. It's a complete punishment. Yeah, so don't go to jail, because this can happen to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Some people go to jail for not even doing anything. Some people get stuck in jail, go into segro. Fuck, I spent, what, 6 years in segro all up? Nearly 6 years in segregation or gang unit, like, together, half my time. 90% of it, allegations. So they can just throw things at you. If you seem to be a bit popular in the yard and stuff, and something happens in the yard, oh, you're the shot caller, you did it. You know what I mean? Even if you didn't say it, just because they see you getting attention off boys. So yeah, bit out there, they're a bit backwards, but yeah, hopefully people like me and other people that have reformed themselves can start to be part of the conversation on how to fix people, and we can do a better thing. So I hope everyone has a good day. Don't go to jail, don't do crime, do this for your child. That didn't blow up, probably did it. There we go.